It's the battle of the bug types. Who will prevail? Wong builds up, throws on the CMP tie, and we're going straight for the Hail Mary. Welcome back to the home of Shadow Pokemon, and my god, do we have a treat for you all today. As you can see, my good friend, NoobGiratina, aka Wong, who's already hit Legend, has a really fun team for us today. We've got the double dark poisons in the back, and we've got Shadow Pinsir. Ironically, that resists ground, the only weakness that the dark poison typing has. So a little bit about Wong, highly talented battler. He's actually a person that I used for some coaching last season. Like King IV said, no matter how good you are, not that I think I'm particularly good, you're never too good to get some coaching. And my good friend Wong really helped me hit Legend once again last season. But without any further ado, let's get into the battles. And in game one, we see Marwal in the lead. We go straight for the superpower. The opponent showed no respect and they instantly regretted it as Marwal got near one shot by the superpower. We switch out into Drapion to meet Alolan Grimer. It is the battle of the dark poisons. Drapion does outpace, however Grimer has more bulk. Wong goes for the sludge bomb on a CMP tie, and Drapion, despite having a 14 attack, loses CMP. Wong commits a shield, he fires off the sludge bomb. He is going for a cheeky undercharge, looking for the poison sting farm down. Unfortunately, he's undercharged too much and he's forced to throw. Another crunch does the opponent want to fight for switch advantage. They do not. Grimer goes down and it is Ninetales in the back. The opponent is looking to two-shield their Charmer, but guess what, motherfucker? We have poison type number 2. We look to catch the charge move on Pinsir. We're unsuccessful. They bring back in Marwal. That gets farmed down. However, Alolan Ninetales has absolutely nowhere to run, and that's all she wrote. GG's and thanks for playing. Moving on to the next one. We see the pesky spider in the lead. Not a particularly good matchup for Pinsir. We fire off the x-scissor. X-scissor isn't resisted, but it isn't the best move. Galvantula still shields anyway. Galvantula users love to shield. They now make a switch out into Runerigas, and we answer with Drapion. Pretty neutral matchup. Sandtomb is super effective, but let's not kid ourselves. It's a pretty trash move. Wong is over farming, getting towards the back-to-back crunches. We are going to have to shield up Sandtomb number 2, and now we are going to unleash the first crunch. Does the opponent want to give up the second shield? They do not. It gets near one shot. Can we commit to the poison sting farm down? We cannot. Wong fires off just before the next charge move. Crunch takes care of Runerigas. What is the opponent gonna come back in with? They come back in to the Galvantula. Drapion still not done, fires off yet another crunch. Crunch draws the final shield from the opponent. We get the defense drop, combo play, Big Mac and the fry. Shout out Oxford U. We land the X-scissor. Down goes Galvan in the back. It is Sableye. Wong should be home and dry at this point. We bring in the big skuntank. We've just got to shield up the return, even if the opponent goes for the bait, which they do not. They wouldn't be able to make one more charge move. The opponent sees the writing on the wall, and that is a good game. Shout out Home Slice Henry. Moving on to the next one. We see Escavalier in the lead. The two bugs. Battle of the bug types. We are not baiting. We're going straight for the superpower. Superpower draws a shield from Escavalier. They are going to fire off a charge move. Wong's big cojones are calling the no shield, and it is just an acid spray. We now switch out into Drapion. Drapion outpaces to the crunch. Does the opponent want to give up shield number 2? Yes, they do. The opponent now shields down. Wong is going to respect a potential drill run, and this absolute savage is throwing sprays left, right and centre. They now dip out into their own Drapion. We are going to fire off the crunch. Crunch lands for respectable damage. We get the defense drop. Can we make the second crunch before the other Drapion throws? We cannot, so Wong is going to commit his final shield. We are now going to fire off crunch number 2 with the debuff. This is going to do big damage, but unfortunately it's still not in poison sting farm down. We now switch out into Skuntank, saving the low HP Drapion. Skuntank tanks the crunch on the chin. We commit to the poison sting farm down. We have got a little bit of residual energy. Back out comes Escavalier. We go for the crunch. The opponent makes another savage play, catching the crunch onto their final Pokemon, and it is Umbreon. We are in a tricky spot. Can Wong pull this one off? The opponent is over farming. We are looking to CMP tie the opponent. The opponent far too smart for that. Flamethrower lands, gets Umbreon deep into the red. Umbreon finally firing a charge move. Foul play takes care of Skuntank. We bring back in the Drapion, looking to get Umbreon to dump that energy. Can Pinsir pull off a victory? I don't know, but we're about to find out. We come in, look to commit to the Fury Cutter, farm down Umbreon on 1 HP, and a dream survives, and unfortunately we lose a fun battle. Moving on to the next one. We lead our shiny Shadow Pinsir into Zweilous. The bug type damage is hitting 4 super effective. Superpower absolutely would one-shot. Wong builds up a boatload of energy. We put up a shield to shield the body slam. They now switch out into Golbat. Wong super quick on his response. Into Drapion we go. Drapion is going to fire off crunch after crunch. The first crunch draws a shield from the opponent. The opponent can throw absolutely whatever they like. Drapion resists everything. They go straight for the hard hitting Shadow Ball. Look to wing attack. Farm us down. Drapion says, I think fucking not. We make crunch number 2 and the opponent once again has double shielded. We have shield advantage. We come in to Skuntank. Likewise, we also resist everything. The opponent now goes for the Poison Fang bait. Wong must be getting pretty tilted at this stage. However, the opponent gives up switch advantage. Wong returns back into his Pinsir, fires off the superpower on a CMP tie. Wong's counting, as always, absolutely immaculate. Drapion fires off the crunch. Can we commit to the poison jab farm down before they make one more charge move? No, we cannot. Skuntank is going to be getting fairly low from this crunch. Crunch lands, gets us into the yellow, and we are loaded. What is the opponent going to come back in with? They come back in to the Wireless. Wireless resists all of our charge moves, but Shadow Skunk hits super hard. We get the defense drop once again. Wong manages to commit to the poison jab farm down. We're on 1 HP and a dream. We've got the crunch locked and loaded. Crunch takes care of Golbat and Wong pulls off an absolutely incredible victory. GG's and thanks for playing. Moving on to the next one. Once again, we see the pesky spider in the lead. We see some weak connection as well. You absolutely love to see it. No, you really don't. We fire off the x-scissor. Once again, the opponent shields it up. Wong choosing not to commit to his Pinsir. Lunge absolutely wrecks Pinsir. We have shield advantage. Drapion outpaces the pesky spider to the crunch. Does the opponent want to commit? Shield number 2. Yes, they do. Holy crap, these players in the 2700s love to double shield early, which is a bit of a surprise, as I generally think if you go down shields, you're pretty fucked. We fire off one more crunch before Galvantula can get to the next lunge. That takes care of the spider. Despite being debuffed, Wong banks a crunch for later, and we now dip out into Skuntank. Skuntank, fairly bulky, even in its shadow form, shrugs off that aerial ace without committing our final shield. Wong building up a boatload of energy. We are going to have to shield up this next aerial ace, but the opponent is staying in. What does the opponent have in the back? We still don't know, as Mandibuzz has stayed on the battlefield. We throw one more poison jab and the flamethrower. Can we get the poison jab farm down? Yes, we can. We're on 1 HP and a dream, and it looks like it's a Wormadam trash. In the back, we fire off the crunch, which is really unfortunate, as we really wanted to hit the flamethrower, but either way, Drapion is going to make one more crunch. Crunch lands for decent damage. Can we outpace and survive? Yes, we can, and Wong is going to go for the BM sludge bomb, because why fucking not? GG's, and thanks for playing. Once again, his counting immaculate. We actually fired the sludge bomb off on a CMP tie, the ultimate BM. You love to see it. Moving on into the next one, we see another S Cavalier in the lead. I already know he's going to fire the superpower off on a CMP tie. Does the opponent respect the damage? They do not. Holy shit, they get near one shot. Wong is choosing to shield up the resisted drill run with the lower defense. It probably would KO. The opponent now switches out into air slash Mandibuzz, and we answer with Drapion. We are going to tank the first aerial ace. Wong, I imagine, is going to throw one poison sting and the sludge bomb, and that is exactly what he does. So 2 turn versus 3 turn. You want to throw out 1 fast move, 4 or 7, and as always, Wong is absolutely immaculate. We fire off sludge bomb number 2. This gets Mandibuzz's first shield. The opponent looking to air slash farm down. We can now bring in the skunk and use it as a damage sponge. The opponent goes for a foul play. Mr. Opponent, that isn't the right charge move. The opponent must realise they're a noob as they go for the aerial ace. The second time, Wong gets a low battery warning in the back. It is Wigglytuff. We switch out into Pinsir, looking to fire off the superpower. Superpower lands for decent damage. Can we poison jab? Farm it down? No, we're going to run out of HP. And that's going to be all she wrote. GG's. And thanks for playing. Moving on to the next one. We see Shadow Pinsir into Zwilus. The opponent shits their pants, switching out into air/Mandibuzz. Air/Mandibuzz is absolutely everywhere, and Drapion is going to enter the arena to meet it. The opponent this time isn't a noob. They actually throw the correct move of the aerial arse. I call it aerial arse because let's not kid ourselves, it's a garbage move. Sludge Bomb, however, is not, and the opponent has given up the first shield. Wong is looking to CMP tie to the next aerial ace. He fires off Sludge Bomb. Number 2, does the opponent fall for the CMP tie? They do not, but Drapion still not done. Makes one more Sludge Bomb, and Sludge Bomb actually knocks out Mandibuzz, committed a shield and still lost switch advantage. We bring Pinsir in one more time, and in the back it is Marwile. Does Marwile respect the superpower? Yes they do, and it is now 2 shield Skunk versus the remainder of this team. This is just a power up punch. Wong choosing not to commit a shield. I don't know what he's saving them for, but evidently it looks like we're about to see a 2 shield flex. We fire off the flamethrower. Flamethrower takes out around 5,700 Marwile and all its relatives. We get Dragon Breath, farm down. Can we make the superpower? We cannot. Wong fires off the x-scissor. Is x-scissor going to be enough to knock out? Yes it is, and the 2 shield flex is completed with 1 HP and a dream. Very nice. Moving on to the next one. We see Tyranitar into Pinsir. Holy shit, these smackdowns are ripping through Pinsir. We fire off the x-scissor. That draws a shield from the opponent. We bring in Drapion and they have Toxicroak. Holy crap, this looks like hard counter city. Crunch doesn't get a shield from the Toxicroak. Wong is going to shield up the Mud Bomb because let's not kid ourselves, we need to start shielding and praying to the gods. We fire off Crunch. Number 2, is this Crunch going to be enough to knock out? No it's not. We switch out, looking to snipe with Skunk, and we get the snipe. However, this Tyranitar is still going to be a huge problem. The opponent actually brings in Jellicent. Wong is going to get debuffed with a Bubble Beam. Not fantastic. Bubble Beam lands for pretty poor damage. Wong is going to fire off the Crunch before they can debuff us. Once again, Crunch will not be enough to knock out with the debuff. Can we commit to the Poison Jab? Farm down? No, we can't. They make one more charge move. Wong is going to respect the Bubble Beam. It looks like he's going for the jab down. We don't make it. They make one more Bubble Beam. Bubble Beam is going to get us really low. We're at the back-to-back moves, though. Can we survive? The one smackdown, we're going to fire off the Crunch. Crunch is double debuffed and resisted. The opponent chooses not to shield it up. We switch out into Drapion. We reset our debuff. We don't make a charge move, and Tyranitar has the move locked and loaded, and despite being pretty hard countered, a pretty good effort. GG's. Moving on to the next one. We see another battle of the bug types. It is Shiny Pinsir versus Shadow Non-Shiny Scizor. We go straight for the superpower. Superpower draws a shield from the opponent, and it's actually a CMP tie. Holy crap, Pinsir has a high attack stat, as Scizor doesn't lose CMP to hardly anything. They fire off the Night Slash and get the boost, and holy crap, we are in big trouble. We are now forced to shield up the resisted Night Slash Bullet Punch, tearing through us. The opponent actually switches out though into Umbreon. We bank 2 crunches for later and bring in the big fat Skunk. A lot of Umbreons are on Psychic in this meta, however this opponent has the last resort, which is unfortunate. They are going to make another last resort. Wong is forced to commit his final shield, however we don't get baited. We throw 1 Poison Jab and the Flamethrower non-stab, still does respectable damage. Umbreon now deep in the yellow, they're now in the red. The opponent gets far too greedy. We make the resisted Crunch. Is this going to draw the final shield from the opponent? Yes it is. We get the defense drop. They now switch out into Azumarill. Once again, Wong, super high IQ, banks the Crunch for later, switches out into his Drapion. Sludge Bomb lands for big damage, doesn't knock out, so Wong says fuck it, have Sludge Bomb. Number 2, that takes care of Azumarill. Back out comes the Scizor. We make the Crunch. Crunch should be taking care of Scizor, which it does. Umbreon throws its energy, but Mr. Opponent, you're about to lose CMP. So moral of the story, too much switching, no bloody good man, as this is going to be more than enough to take care of Umbreon. GG's, and thanks for playing. I'll be honest, I think if the opponent stayed in and committed to their boosted Scizor, it probably would have run through Wong's entire team, but as always, Wong does the impossible and pulls off a very nice victory. Moving on to the next one, we see Toxapex in the lead. Pinsir wants absolutely no part of that. We switch out into Drapion, and the opponent answers with a Zoomerall. So I'm not really sure what the opponent's thinking here. They had a really positive matchup in the lead, and they've actually switched into a losing matchup on the switch. Wong, definitely not complaining. They shield up the Sludge Bomb, we shield up the Ice Beam. We land the second Sludge Bomb, it gets Azu deep into the red. We are now going to fire off the Crunch. Crunch is resisted, but will be enough to take care of Azu. From this range, we can now realign our Pokemon. Not only that, Drapion leaves fairly healthy back out. Comes a Toxapex. It's going to be a very difficult Poison Jab farm down from here. So we are going to spam out a few Crunches. Crunch does land. We get no debuff. Is the opponent going to throw their energy? Yes, they are. I imagine Wong will just let this go, which he does. Brian takes care of the Drapion, and now it is time for Shadow Skunk. Skunk, not too phased by these charge moves. Brine, I don't know what that is, but it's not a very impressive charge move from a defense-weighted Pokemon. We are now looking to build up a boatload of energy. Wong choosing not to fire the charge move. We shield up the Brine, and we are getting towards the back-to-back Crunches, and in the back, it is Galv. Oh, boy. Galvantula chooses to shield up the first Crunch, so we are going to throw 3 Poison Jabs. And the Flamethrower. Flamethrower is going to say, hi Galv, bye Galv. GG's little buddy. Back out comes the Toxapex and Skuntank. Banks the Crunch. 4 later we come in with Pinsir for no apparent reason other than why not. Pinsir actually survives the Brine, and we are going to BM it once again. The superpower actually is a no bubble. Wong, you absolute savage. Why are you doing this to the opponent? Superpower doesn't KO, and we resisted Fury Cutter down. Wow, very nice. So those were the battles from my PvP coach and good friend Wong. As you can see by the amount I was laughing in this video, he is a very talented battler and very entertaining to shoutcast. So if you want your battles featured on the channel, link to my battle submission form is down below. And while we're talking about battle submissions, we are going to be shoutcasting my good friend Ty. So if you enjoy a bit of BM and fun commentary, stay tuned for tomorrow's upload. So I'd just like to say thanks for watching, and I will see you all in